Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu-alaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair-agale, ni hao, chunishumme, washmale. Ohai Gonzaimas, guten Morgen, hola, boyo, privet, kaifa hal? Hale shumachatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho gracias, swabia, balli kare aaya. Hoş geldin and ayasaya, khuyamora, chivatto, chi haljot, kalimera, khairutan. And a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning. Alongside my very well-learned colleague who happens to be Ms. Sadaf Ali Khan. I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan, and we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your Wednesday morning with us. But first things first, hello Sadaf, Assalamu alaikum. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. I'm very excited as usual, and it's the good company which actually makes you feel really excited every morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, half of the credit actually goes to you, and half of the credit goes to the people who actually help us being dressed up, look so well on the screen, and they actually put a lot of effort to make us shining so bright.
I mean, obviously a lot of hard work goes on to you as well. I certainly do not need a lot of makeup. But I think for all those amazing makeup artists that we have, we certainly wanted to thank them as well. And, you know, thank you so much for saying that, Sadaf, because this is exactly the note that I would want to start my show on, and that is that imagine that how many times you would come across people who will share their energy with you, you know, who will make sure that they're going to vibe right exactly on the level that you're vibing and will compliment you. So I think we really need to appreciate all of those people. And one simple thing, and that is, if you ever are to kind of compliment anyone, please make sure that you don't say that, oh, you know, this shirt looks so nice. Oh, this tie looks so nice. Oh, your shoes look so nice. Please make sure that you only say, you look so nice. And I think that this will actually make their day. But while we're at it, we do know, you know, how the weather's been lately as well. You know, so let's get started with how the weather is going to be. For all my Pakistani fellow people, please make sure that you take notes over here as well, because mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while very cold and hilly areas during next 24 hours. According to Met Office, moderate to dense fog in patches is likely to persist in northeastern Punjab, while shallow to moderate in South Punjab and Upper Sindh during the forecast period. Met Office informed that continental air is prevailing over most parts of the country. So for anyone and everyone, please make sure that you look after yourselves. And because it's cold and dry weather, we certainly need to pray to Allah Almighty. Please send us some rain. Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what we need, right?
Exactly. And I have news from the US. Kind of similar news, but very major winter storm which is actually approaching there. So we're talking about weather, but major winter storm bears down on US. 7 US states have declared a state of emergency as the winter storm turns deadly, claiming the lives of 5 people. The National Weather Service is warning some areas are at risk of seeing their heaviest snowfall in at least a decade. This is what, you know, the changing temperatures are actually doing to us. So the storm has built across the US since Saturday, producing heavy snow and significant ice, making road conditions increasingly dangerous. More than 60 million people across some 30 states have been under weather alerts, while the NWS has warnings in place of heavy snowfall from Kansas and Missouri to New Jersey. The winter storm is being driven by a polar vortex usually located around the North Pole, which has dipped south and stretched from between the Rocky Mountains to Maine. So, Shahzad, we have been talking about the weather alerts. We have been telling people about the weather all across the globe. The global warming, the temperatures different, the dropping down temperatures, the rising of temperatures. We're actually facing extreme weather conditions throughout the globe, and this is actually because of, you know, those carbon emissions that...
It's exactly because of us, you know. So, you know, we might say that Pakistan is not a contributor, or we only contribute 0.004%. I think we really need to kind of reflect upon ourselves and our actions, and, you know, the industrialized nations really need to kind of think about how they will be leaving this planet Earth for their future generations. And we certainly really need to be concerned about the health of our planet. But while we are at it, I will actually request all my people, all my followers, all the viewers of PTV World and PTV, please make sure that you remember all the people in Tibet right now in your prayers, because rescue workers are searching for survivors after a 7.1 magnitude earthquake killed nearly 126 people and damaged more than 1,000 buildings in a remote region of Tibet near Everest. At least 126 people have been confirmed dead, unfortunately, and 188 are injured after a major earthquake struck a remote region of mountains near Tibet.
And
7.1 magnitude earthquake at a depth of 10 kilometers also showed a series of aftershocks in the area. Tremors were also felt in Nepal and parts of India, which neighbors Tibet. Videos aired by China's state broadcaster CCTV showed destroyed houses with walls torn apart and rubble strewn across the ruins in the aftermath of the earthquake. For all of those people who have lost their loved ones, we're really sorry. Patients further bereaved, and may their souls rest in peace.
exactly. President and Prime Minister expressed grief over the loss of lives in earthquake. President Asif Ali Zardari has expressed his deep sorrow over the loss of precious lives and damage to the property caused by the earthquake that struck China's Xinjiang region. In his message, President Zardari said, in this hour of sorrow, his sympathies are with the government, the people of China and the earthquake victims. And on the other hand, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has expressed his condolence with Chinese President Xi Jinping and the brotherly people of China for the loss of precious lives in the devastating earthquake in Xinjiang.
Exactly, and while we are at it, and while we were talking about how there's dry and cold weather, and certainly, so there are, imagine that, just 2 days ago, so I was sleeping and I had cough and I felt like as if it's not normal cough. And I was like, okay, I really need to get myself checked and go to the doctor. And because it's cold weather, because it's dry as well, we really need to kind of make sure that, that we look after ourselves. But while we are at it, I think everybody needs to listen to it very carefully, and that is that the pneumonia is on rise over here in Islamabad and the surge is unexpected. We are certainly joined by a medical professional as well. We will be asking him why pneumonia is on rise and what can we do to curb this menace. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by child specialist, assistant professor, pediatrics, Dr. Junaid Jahangir Abbasi Sahab. Hello Jahangir bhai, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Walaikum salam, Shahzad. It's really nice to hear your voice, full of energy.
Thank you so much, Jahangir bhai. But unfortunately for people who are actually suffering from pneumonia, can't really even talk as of now. So let's first of all figure out why pneumonia is on the rise. Is it just because of the weather?
The weather do play a role. It triggers actually the pneumonia, but the cold is not the only cause. Obviously, low immunity, having comorbids, and of the self-medication and not getting a proper checkup and just taking cough syrups and aggravating your condition are the other factors that is leading to the pneumonia as well.
Talking about the HMPV as well, the human metapneumovirus as well, and it is on a rise around the globe. Even our neighboring country actually recorded 2 or 3 cases for that. Pakistan is for now safe, but can you brief us about that as well?
Yes, we have a lot of viruses, including the virus which you have just named, and that these viruses they are on increasing trend, and along with the viruses, the bacteria are also playing important role in causing pneumonia. In fact, the bacterial pneumonia is more dangerous than the viral pneumonia because the viral pneumonia may resolve itself, but the bacterial pneumonia, they don't resolve until we take a good course of antibiotics, and sometimes it is not cured by oral antibiotics and we need to give the IV antibiotics. As far as the pneumonia is concerned, I always say that not every cough is a pneumonia and not every pneumonia can have cough. So it is important that you should consult your doctor as soon as the symptoms develop. Most of the children who die in Pakistan due to pneumonia are those children who are being neglected, who are being self-treated. These are those children who are not properly diagnosed at the right time and not properly treated at the right time. Pneumonia is a curable disease.
It's very kind of you to share with that with us, that it really needs to be treated, and the self-medication certainly is not a great idea, and we really need to go to the doctor. But imagine that for any mother or any father who's at home, if their son's not coughing, because you said not every cough is pneumonia, not every pneumonia can actually have cough as well. So how do you think any parent at home can right now assess their child if unfortunately they really need to go and seek medical help?
Yes. The important thing which I want to teach to all the parents, that please see the breathing of your child. It's not only cough. You can have cough in the common cold as well, in simple flu as well, in simple allergy as well. But if your child is having a breathing difficulty, especially in the younger kids, if the child is having a difficulty in breathing, then you should immediately go to the doctor.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in addition to this, do you remember that in COVID times we were using those oximeters as well? Do you think that if unfortunately your child has got pneumonia, the oxygen saturation might drop down as well, because now it's readily available, the oximeters? Do you think it will have its impact because we're talking about breathing difficulties?
Yes, the oximeters will give you a clear idea whether the saturation is dropping or not. But the saturation will drop when the pneumonia will be an advanced pneumonia. It will not drop in the early pneumonia. In early pneumonia, it is the breathing difficulty which warrants the parents to seek medical attention.
Okay, you mentioned different types of pneumonia. You said that it can be viral, it can be bacterial. So if we talk about both these types, which one is contagious or both of them are contagious? Can you please elaborate this as well? And if one of your child has pneumonia, do you have to keep them at a separate place? You have to seclude them from the other
That's
children
exactly
as
how
well?
a mother needs to speak, Sadaf.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes, the viral pneumonia usually spread from one child to the other child, and that's due to the coughing and the droplets which are present in the air due to the cough. So viral pneumonia spread. Bacterial pneumonia usually do not spread so easily as compared to the viral pneumonia. But the tip for all the parents is that if one child is sick at your home, please keep the rest of the children away from that child, and please do not send your coughing child to the school. Usually, most of the children they catch infections from the school because one kid who brings the virus in the class, it gives to the other children in the class.
Exactly. And Dr. Saab, in addition to this, why do you think, because pneumonia is very much treatable, obviously, if we are in time, we go to the doctor, we seek medical advice, why do you think it's causing so many deaths these days?
Yes. Pneumonia is one of the leading cause of mortality in children. Every year, we lose thousands of children in Pakistan due to deadly pneumonia. The reason is that right from the start, we do not emphasize on the nutrition of the child. We do not emphasize on proper vaccination of the child. We do not emphasize on proper immunity of the child. So lack of breastfeeding, lack of proper nutrition, lack of proper vaccination, and poor hygiene triggered by the cold. Cold acts acts like a trigger, like you put oil on the fire. So the cold temperature is a triggering factor leading to pneumonia, leading to deaths.
What are the precautionary measures we can take in order to keep ourselves safe from this?
Yes, we need to keep our nutrition a balanced one. We need to take regular sleep, exercise. We need to do the vaccination, annual vaccination, and the vaccination which is emphasized by the WHO for all children when they are born. And it is important that we should also have proper heating system to avoid the cold exposure.
Exactly. And Dr. Saab, in addition to that, I think what we really need to kind of talk about over here is, very quickly before we wrap up this segment, and that is that how do you think that we can prevent it, number one? How do you think that it will be treated, unfortunately, if it's advanced or even if it's not advanced? How do you think the parents can actually look after their kids while they are at home? Because you have spoken about how they really need to have great diet, there needs to be activity, they really need to protect themselves, as the weather actually plays a triggering role as well. So please go ahead, share your expertise with all of our viewers in 46 different countries.
Yes, while what we see that many people in Pakistan, they have myths, like if the child is coughing, they will give a green tea and they will give the cough syrup without going into the cause of the cough. This is one factor. Secondly, most of the young mothers nowadays, they are not giving breastfeeding, due to which the child do not develop sufficient immunity to fight with infections. Number three, overcrowding overcrowding and overpopulation, both at homes and schools and in madrasas and all crowded places, it leads to the spread of the pneumonia. Number four, we are a nation that do not emphasize on vaccination. Please, everybody should know that if your child is suffering from infection again and again, then he needs a proper vaccination before every winter. He needs a flu shot before every winter, and you may augment the pneumonia vaccine. Everybody must know that there is a proper pneumonia vaccine. If somebody is at risk of pneumonia, he can get that vaccine and he will be prevented. So pneumonia is a preventable disease. And if it has occurred, then taking proper consultation and starting treatment at the proper time will not lead to complications. And if you have avoided the complications, then our children will not die due to pneumonia. Why I'm shouting? Because pneumonia is a treatable disease, and developed countries have a good control of pneumonia. But in Pakistan, still thousands of children die due to pneumonia every winter. Daily, children are dying due to
And thank
pneumonia.
you so much for taking this pain, Dr. Saab. And thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and how it can be prevented with, a simple vaccination injection, and how, it is curable as well if we make sure that we are in time to the doctors as well. Now, very quickly towards the end, one last question. Are there any myths associated with pneumonia? Please go ahead, clear them up. Let's bust some myths today.
Yes, the biggest myth associated with pneumonia is that many mothers, they do not give bath to their children because of the fear of developing pneumonia. They think that if the child gets a bath, he will develop pneumonia. I want to make sure that bathing does not cause pneumonia. The more your child is clean, the more are the chances of his healthy lifestyle. So please do give bath to your children at proper time. But bathing should be in a controlled environment. The environment should be warm. If your child is a small one, do not take him to the washroom. You can have a tub in your room as well, with a proper heater and a proper lukewarm water, warm water. And if you are giving bath to your child in a controlled, warm environment, this will not cause pneumonia. This is the biggest myth every day we are facing. And the second biggest myth in terms of pneumonia is that many families and many parents take it as a simple cough, a simple common cold, and they just use the cough syrups by themselves by the time the child has developed pneumonia. So not every cough. So I must say that every cough should be evaluated.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab, for being with us. Dr. Junaid Jahangir Saab, so much for your valuable input. And for parents who are out there as well, make sure that you apne bachchiyan nu nilao, okay? So this is exactly
In
what Dr. Saab
controlled
said.
atmosphere.
No, because I've seen a lot of mothers, oh, thand badi hai, bachche nu nahi nilana,
Yeah,
bachche
I know
jo
that.
bo aa jaye.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, don't do that, okay? Please make sure that you,
Yeah.
I mean, make sure that your kids are hygienically clean. Even if they're playing, they're coming back in, wash your
And
hands.
smelling nice as
yeah,
well.
smelling nice is obviously, you can put perfume, but they really need to be clean, and they really need to take a bath. But obviously what Dr. Saab said, use the tub in your room, use heaters around as well. It's not that that the baby has taken a bath and then, all of a sudden it's cold outside. So please make sure that you take all of these precautionary measures, because pneumonia, ladies and gentlemen, is out there on a kill,
it's on
and
the
we
rise.
really need to protect ourselves.
Exactly.
So what do you have? Do you have something interesting?
Exactly. I have a very interesting
What's that?
news, and that is China successfully launches Shijian-25 satellite.
Wow.
China has successfully launched a Shijian-25 satellite into its preset orbit from the Xichang Satellite Launch Center in southwest China's Sichuan province. The satellite was boosted into space by a Long March 3B carrier rocket. Shijian-25 will be used for satellite fuel and to verify technologies used for extending the life of orbiting satellites. This launch marked the 555th successful flight for the Long March rocket series.
Exactly. In addition to this, we just had a news where how space debris was landed in Kenya. Well, not even landed, I think it's debris. It fell down from the orbit whichever orbit it was in, whether it was NEO or GEO. And I think with so many satellites out there, revolving around our planet, we really need to be mindful about that. But while we're at it, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, China has been at the forefront of technology, where China's railway operator has unveiled the CR450, a prototype high-speed train capable of reaching 400 kilometers per hour, making it the world's fastest commercial train. It reached 450 kilometers per hour during testing, setting new international benchmarks in speed, energy efficiency, noise reduction, and braking performance. The CR450 improves upon the current CR400 trains, which run at 350 kilometers per hour, with enhanced control systems, safety monitoring, and intelligent features for passengers and drivers. I think it's great where the technology is going. I think we will soon be traveling probably on 1,000 kilometers as well, because, they're bringing on levitating trains as well with magnetic fields and whatnot. But I hope that, that the safety is ensured. And number two, I have actually been on a train which actually goes 300 kilometers per hour.
That's really
where is that train?
Amazing. Where is that?
It takes you from Makkah to Medina and from Medina to Makkah. So, for anybody and everybody, if you're out there, if you're going to Makkah or Medina, please use the train. First of all, it's going to reduce your time to 2 hours, the traveling time, because otherwise, if you go by a car, it's 5 hours. But while we're at it, I mean, 2024 has been fabulous, about sports, may it be Arshad Nadeem, may it be Noor Dastagir Bhatt, may it be the under-13 squash champions, may it be the mixed martial artists, may it be the, Muay Thai people. I think Pakistan has been contributing quite a lot. We've spoken about it. But there's this one sport which I don't think that we've ever spoken about on our program.
And what's that?
And it's so hard for me to understand that sport as well, that ever since that I was a child, even when I saw my father playing it or anybody else playing it, I couldn't really figure out what are they doing. Now imagine that this gentleman, who's actually, kind enough to be on our show, just won an Austrian Open National at the Fontana Golf Club. Not just that, he he was the national champion at 2023, Teachers Champ 2023, professional title at the Austrian National Open. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Hamza Amin. Hello Hamza, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you feeling today?
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be on the show, and I'm happy this is the first time that you're talking about golf.
Exactly. So Hamza, first of all, thank you so much, because, for anybody and everybody who's watching us, we met in DHA Multan, and that's where I met Hamza. And Hamza, obviously, I knew because he's everywhere. So every golf course that you're going to go to, they have pictures of Hamza.
Yes, I have seen his pictures.
He's a famous guy, obviously, alhamdulillah. So Hamza, take us through, how did you get into golf? That's one thing which I would love to ask, for such a budding, young, good-looking, handsome gentleman to be playing golf. How did you get into it?
Thank you. You're too kind, Shahzad bhai. Actually, golf runs in our family. So my dad was 14-time national champion of Pakistan. He's won 4 Pakistan Opens. He was Asia #1 in the 70s. And then he was senior Asia #1, I think 2010. So, he's been playing golf for 60 years. My brothers play, my uncles play, my cousins, I'm the only professional in the family, but everyone plays, and that's how I got into the game.
Okay, Hamza, if we talk about it, how soon a child can start playing golf if they want to play it, if they are fascinated by it? I want to know about it.
That's a good question. From my experience, I think the age of 4, 5, you can start already. I see kids, I see a lot of children playing golf now, which is great to see. And it's going against the trend. Only old people play golf. That's not true anymore. A lot of kids are playing at the age of 4 and 5, they're starting. It's good to see.
Exactly. And Hamza, this is exactly what I would want to figure out today as well, because while I was on your Instagram profile, you actually put up some great comments about whatever title you were winning. So imagine at the Q School finals, you wrote 71, 70, 72, 70 wasn't enough. So can you take us through from what 71, 70, 72 and 70 is?
Basically golf scoring. So in golf, there are 18 holes that you have to play. And each hole has a specific par. So it could be a par 3, which is the shortest hole, then a par 4, which is like a medium length hole, and a par 5, which is a long hole. So if you add up all the pars for 18 holes, you get to 72. Now, if you play under 72, then you're playing under par. And if you play over 72, then you're playing over par.
Over par, wow. That's great. Which is why now I'm going to take you to another step. Now imagine that at the Austrian Open National, you had scores of 71, 70, 75, and 69 -3. Now, so first of all, please do explain what's -3. And these scores, are these scores better than the Q School finals? Because it does not really look like that.
Very difficult to compare because these are two different golf courses. The conditions are different. The grass is different. The turf is different. The wind is different. The obstacles on the course, the water, the bunker positioning. It all really depends on the difficulty. You can play an easy course in Pakistan and shoot like 15 under par for 4 days, and then you can play a very difficult golf course in difficult conditions and play even par for 4 days and win the tournament.
Exactly, and I'm sorry to bring in, cricket over here because how the pitches can actually vary from, one venue to another. So I think it's exactly how, any golf course can be different from the one another. But while we're at it, what is the national circuit like? So for, people in 46 different countries, for them to have a better understanding, what is it like?
Well, golf has been growing in Pakistan, which is good to see. There are a lot more players coming in. There's a lot more prize money on offer for the tournaments that we play on the national circuit here. Obviously, when there's more prize money, you have more interest, more sponsorships. So we have a pretty good calendar compared to other countries. Lots of talent. I think we would have between 15 and 20 tournaments a year. So then you start in the north and then you come down. So it starts in Islamabad, Pindi region, then goes to Lahore and Multan, and then comes to Karachi. So different months have different swings and different cities, and that's how a season goes on our calendar.
Okay, the trend of going to the golf course and going to the golf clubs, that is increasing a lot. And I got a chance
Only
to
if we get the membership, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I got a chance to go to a golf course a couple of times. Oh yes, I actually
only
mentioned
twice,
this
not
off
couple of
air.
times, only twice.
That's twice. That's a couple of times. So I actually got a chance to, and I tried to play at the beginner level. I want to know from you, because you're a pro at it. So I want to know it from you, that what qualities do you need to have in order to start playing golf, and how much time do you have to spare in case you want to learn it and if you want to play it?
One thing, which golf course did you go to?
That was in Bhurban.
In Bhurban, oh wow.
Well. Yeah.
Funny enough, I've never played in Bhurban. I've played all over
Really?
the country, but never in Bhurban. Yeah, no, I haven't.
Oh God, so that's exactly why I asked you about national circuit. You said, we start from the north. I thought somewhere in between you would have been at Bhurban as well. But yeah.
Itna bhi north hum nahi jate. But yeah, back to your question. What you need is a lot of time, because it's a very time-intensive sport, and you need a good hand-eye coordination. If you don't have a good hand-eye coordination, फिर थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. But yeah, these are the two prerequisites, and you need to be able to focus, have a decent amount of focus and concentration, because really it's a very difficult, time-consuming sport, and you have to practice all the time, and it takes months and months and months to improve. I've been a pro 13 years. I've been playing for 25 years, and I'm still trying to improve every day.
And do you get the kits sponsored? Because I actually got to know that look at me stuttering.
Obviously, he's
everything
a pro-level
gets very
athlete.
expensive.
I mean, he's everywhere in Pakistan. People just invite him over to, kind of do the openings of golf courses and whatnot. So he's like a legend that, represents Pakistan.
Exactly, Shahzad. This is why I was asking, because I got to know that the material, the kits, everything is very expensive. This is a very expensive sport, and I want to know that at what point you start getting the sponsored kits and everything.
Time lagega.
Yeah.
Good question. I would say with sponsorships, you have to be lucky as well, and you have to be a good player, and present yourself well. But the moment you're a pro, then equipment companies do come and assist you and give you some equipment and some gear. But you have to be really good. You have to be really good for that to happen. Especially now, these days, there's so many budget cuts everywhere. Because of the increasing costs for all these companies, so they don't give as freely as they used to back in the day. So, I mean, if you play well and you win some tournaments, then the sky is the limit. You get everything.
Exactly, and thank you so much for elaborating on that. And I think that that the private-public partnerships really need to kind of stand up over here and build this entire ecosystem, where our pro-level athletes actually needs to be sponsored with the kits and whatever they actually require. But while we're at it, Hamza bhai, what I would love to ask you over here is, how do you think our players are, if we are to kind of compare it with all of those international players that we know, for example, I think, I'm sorry that I'm going to bring up that name, Tiger Woods as well, and there's so many other ones as well which are coming up, number one. And how do you think that the work ethic is like over here? Now imagine that we're playing a footage of yours where I do believe that you're standing right next to a coach or an instructor, and there's some biomechanics going on, you've got cameras around. So how do you think it is, or do you think that you have to invest on yourself, get the coaches, hire them, nutrition, do everything by yourself, and then go compete on international levels? How is it? Two different things.
That's some good questions there. Pakistan definitely has the talent, right? But unfortunately, we don't have the exposure. It's much easier to get sponsorship funds in sports like cricket. But if we were to see more Pakistani players compete internationally, then you can also draw a better comparison. But game-wise, I don't think there's much of a difference. It's just exposure. And when you play abroad, if you go for one sporadic event, every 6 to 8 months, phir kuch nahi banega. You have to go and keep playing week for week abroad, and then get your mind be battle hardened, and put yourself out there. Only then can we draw a real comparison. But I don't think our players are any less. Obviously, Tiger Woods is Tiger Woods. You can't compare him to anybody. But I'm saying generally we can compete abroad without any problem. We just need the exposure, and most of our players just need the backing. In Pakistan, there aren't really any coaches, so everybody is self-taught. They have like an ustad. Every pro has his own ustad, and they learn from him, and they just go through life learning from that one guy and improving through trial and error. So there's no coaching as such, which is unfortunate. So you have to, like in cricket, make it by yourself. Your own talent and your own discipline gets you there. But things in Pakistan are improving. More pros are going abroad now, slowly getting the exposure. So as long as the trend improves, I think we'll see some success stories.
Exactly, and that's how eventually we have, reached this far as well in the field of sports. To be very honest, may it be Arshad Nadeem, may it be Noor Dastagir Bhatt, may it be our blind cricket team, which actually won the T20 World Cup as well this time around. I think we've all invested in sports, and then eventually when you come down to the Prime Minister Youth Program, the Chairman Rana Mashood, who's actually supporting all the athletes. Very quickly towards the end, Hamza, what would you like to say, for example, if there are people out there listening, how do you think that this ecosystem needs to run? What are your recommendations and your suggestions for people who want to be a part of this sport? Number one, how do you think public-private partnerships can help, and how do you think that kids really need to play this game?
It's like you said before, that it's an expensive sport. It's not easy to get into. So this is an initiative that the federation would have to take, or local clubs would have to take, where they approach schools and they say, okay, twice a week for 2 hours, we invite all the kids to come try out golf. And all it really takes is one or two kids to come out of that. And you do this countrywide, nationwide, put the responsibility on the federation and the local clubs. And I'm sure that some kids will come and progress, and they love the game. It keeps you, sports keeps you away from, bad activities, all the kids. So it's great if they can start playing. We also have a junior circuit in Pakistan.
Children specifically? Yeah,
yes,
we're talking about
under 15.
Yes, Hamza, we're talking about this game, about children specifically. So is this kind of a composed game, a rough game? How do you define it as? And do children have to take some precautionary measures when they step into the golf course?
Well, I mean, you can all get hit by a ball. You just have to stand in the right place. But a local coach can always teach you where to stand and what to do. But yeah, it's not a rigid game at all. It just requires a lot of concentration and focus. It's like playing chess, chess and hitting a ball and walking, and it's a lovely game. It really requires you to think hard, and it's excellent for kids growing up.
I think it's wonderful. Thank you so much, Hamza, for being with us. You certainly are making Pakistan proud. We pray that you will continue to do so as well. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for keeping your word, brother. And while we're at it, and since you actually spoke about children, I have an interesting bit to it. Now, imagine that because it was winter vacations, unfortunately for our producer, because the winter vacations are over for her children, but I think there are a lot of children who are actually enjoying their winter vacations, doing different stuff, and that's exactly what we would want to figure out. You know, that too from children. You know, how many times do we actually kind of come across this situation, yeah, we do not have to enforce our decisions onto our children as parents, but rather let's ask them what would they want to do. So now imagine when the winter vacations are actually coming towards an end, we have a bunch of children over here,
lovely little children,
lovely little girls over here who are actually going to shed light on how their winter vacations were and what they aspire to do and what do they want to be in life. So very quickly, first of, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Miss Shahbano. Hello Shahbano, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you alongside Miss Shahbano. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Miss Abeeha Usman. Hello Abeeha, Assalamu Alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm fine. Thank you for having me today.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We were very lucky that you guys actually took out time to be with us, and that too during your winter vacations. You guys must be busy. Last but not the least, we're very lucky, looking very nice in a pink sweater. She happens to be Miss Shahnoor Rehman. Hello Shahnoor, Assalamu Alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
really
It's
like
wonderful.
the
Are you guys related to each other?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. How are you guys related to each other?
We're cousins.
You are cousins. Wow, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful, and I really like the confidence in them. I really like the excitement in them. You know, like kids usually these days, they don't wake up this early. They're not this excited in the morning.
If their father wakes up this early, they are going to wake up this early as well. Shahbano happens to be my daughter, alhamdulillah. Abeeha happens to be my sister's daughter, and Shahnoor happens to be my sister's daughter as well. And we wanted to have them over to ask them about their winter vacations. So whoever wants to go first, I think we'll get started with Shahnoor first. Shahnoor, how did you spend your winter vacations? What's the best idea to spend?
It went good. We stayed at our cousin's house. We had a movie day. We watched Moana and Mufasa too.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's
How was Moana
very
and
nice.
Mufasa? Was it good?
Yes.
Would you recommend to other children that they need to go to the cinema and watch the film?
Yes.
Which character do you love the most?
Moana.
Moana? Why Moana?
Because.
Because she saves the world. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, does she? Okay, I don't know. I have no idea
I
about
watched it.
Moana.
I actually watch
do
a lot
know
of animated movies.
I do know about Simba and everybody else, but not Moana. But let's move on to Miss Abeeha Usman. Abeeha, what about you? Take us through.
My winter holidays were going fine, and it's still fine, but we went to my nano's house, and then we watched some movies, and we ate lunch at this very famous restaurant, and then I learned cooking. I made a lot of things like pasta and dessert, and then I learned how to write stories.
Wow.
What kind of pasta can you make?
I can make white sauce and red sauce.
Very nice.
And when is it that we're going to eat it? You know, because now you've learned it. I think you should actually make it for your mamu one day as well, and we can all enjoy it, right? You know, so when do you think that I can have that pasta?
Maybe on a family day.
Maybe on a family day. So Sunday probably then.
Yes.
Right? You know, so Sunday because we all gather up, alhamdulillah, thanks to our parents and everybody,
Will I
my
be
sisters
invited too, Shahzad?
and brother-in-laws? No, because it's only a family day.
Look at him.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
straight
Come
away
whenever,
saying
come
no.
whenever. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Let's move on to Shahbano. Shahbano, hello, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
How are your winter vacations going? What did
Mine
you do?
went pretty good. I was self-reflecting on the things that needed to be polished. I have read many books to enhance my vocabulary, and we had many sleepovers with my cousins we played a few games like Mingle, Pictionary, and Uno No Mercy.
Okay, so what do you do in a sleepover specifically?
In the sleepover, we have
The fight, probably. Because for three friends to be friends for a longer period of time is a difficult job. So they decide, okay, we two friends, then they're two friends, and I think that's exactly how it is. That's how cousins' life is. Yeah, so what do you do?
So we play games like Mingle and all of those. All those three games have a twist which you have to follow, which makes it fascinating. And then in sleepovers, like you can have pillow fights, or you can play card games or detective games, or you can play some activities or play like these days on technology. There's a lot of phone games like Among Us and Roblox, as most kids are probably playing right now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Which is why I'm going to move on to Shahnoor now. So Shahnoor, while I was growing up, I would always love to spend my vacations at my dada's place, at my grandfather's place, because my chachus were there, who always give me extra money. They will take me whatever, they will buy me burgers and sandwiches and whatnot. And I always used to love it. So who is your favorite khala, and where do you want to spend most of your time?
At Nano's house.
At Nano's house, that's a very intelligent answer. At Nano's house, because everybody comes over there, right?
Yes.
So what do you love about Nano's house?
That
You know, there's so much stuff that we eat every day, then, there's so many vegetables that we can pick up on, that we can play outside, so is that what you love the most?
yes.
All right, well, wonderful. So, Abeeha,
Okay.
what about you?
I think I love my all Khala's house, but same as Shahnoor's, I love my Nano's house.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. I think everybody is going to kind of be happy about this answer
Yes.
because, everybody comes over there. What do you love about Nano's house?
It's because my mommy and my small cousins live there, and it's really fun there because like my mamu lives there as you, and my mommy lives there, and we have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's very
great.
nice.
I think now I have a question for Shahbano. So, Shahbano, you have younger sisters, alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Abeeha Api is a younger sister, Shahnoori Api, and when all of you guys play together, most of the time when we were growing up and we were on vacations at grandfather's place, and we had smaller cousins, so we certainly never wanted them to be around us. Because we were like, okay, इनको तो समझ ही नहीं है किसी चीज़ की और ये आके अब हमें तंग करेंगे and all of that. Do you actually come across that feeling as well?
Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes. Okay, so how do you exactly feel when there are small kids disturbing you?
Like, as in they're coming in the room all the time, and then we're just talking, we're like hanging out together, and they're just coming in and out and leaving the mess on the floor and everywhere. So it just becomes really disturbing for us, and it's not the best. And yes, and they can sometimes like ask you for like things, but which you have, and then they can like break those things and not give it back.
But I think that there's another problem. Now the problem is not that that they come in and they disturb you. I think most of the time for elder sisters the problem is that their mothers will always tell them that you need to look after them,
You have to
and
take
take
care
care
of
of them,
them.
and then they will cry, and then they will make all sorts of noises. Huh, Shahnoori Api, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you at times get annoyed as well, right? Okay, so wonderful. So, so you were self-reflecting in your winter vacations. What did you reflect upon?
I reflected on reading books.
Okay.
As I'm not the best at history and geography, but it is my favorite subject, so I self-reflected on that.
Wow.
I learned a language,
Which language?
German.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
wow.
wonderful.
So can you share a few sentences in German?
Do I do my introduction in German?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Ich bin Shahbano, ich bin 11 Jahre alt. Mein Hobby ist Badminton.
Wow. Ich bin
Very
Shahzad
nice.
and
Ich bin Sadaf.
Ich bin Sadaf.
Yeah.
And what about you, Abeeha Api? So, because winter vacations are going to come to an end, probably in a week's time now or 4 or 5 days. And now when you go to school, do you think that you will be a different person and there are things that you have learned in life and they'll always help you?
I think that I'm going to be a bit different person in my school because like I have like studied a little bit in my house, and since term 2 is starting, I think I'll like get better in my studies.
Wow,
Okay, so
that's
when
wonderful.
is your school opening up again?
It's on next Friday.
Next Friday.
Oh, long
Shahnoori Api,
vacations?
what about you? 13th?
Yes.
13th or 14th? What about you? 13th or 14th?
13th.
Right? I think that's great. So Shahnoori Api, what's your goal for 2025? It's New Year's. Did you think about that this is something that I need to do in 2025?
Yes. I will learn how to play golf.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Wow.
beautiful. Very nice.
I learned this time how to crochet.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Wow, that's great. What about you, Abeeha Api? In 2025, what do you want to do?
I have thought that I wouldn't be creating anything for my house, but I would be creating a lot resolutions for my school, like getting better in my studies, getting my grades up, and like
Inshallah, that's great. And you have to make me pasta as well, right? Thank you so much, Bete.
That's beautiful.
Shahbano Api, what about you?
I made a resolution to do well in my finals, as it's grade 6 now, and it's a bit hard, but I really want to focus on my finals. So as my dad has to buy me something, and he had to promise on that.
That's
okay.
really good. Okay, I
That's
have a
wonderful.
question from all three of you. How do you wish a birthday?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you wish a birthday?
Like, as in, like, throwing them a surprise party,
Yeah.
Okay.
or saying happy birthday on the phone if
Okay.
they're
Exactly.
far
Okay,
away.
saying
So that's
happy
exactly
birthday.
what we're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's
So
Neera
today's-
Fatima,
yes.
who's going to turn 4 years old today,
Oh,
and you
yes.
guys are going to sing her a happy birthday song with us. So let's do this. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Neera Fatima. Happy
birthday to
you. Happy
you.
Hajj to each and every one of you who's actually celebrating their birthdays today. Thank you so much to all of our great Appis. Thank you so much, Shahbano. Thank you so much, Abeeha. And thank you so much, Miss Shahnoor, for being with us. Lovely to have you over here. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, give your kids freedom, but make sure that you keep an eye on whether whatever their decisions are in life, that they need to have their parents around so that they can guide them, be
Exactly.
their mentor, and be the beacon. Thank you so much, Sadaf,
Such a beautiful
for being
message,
a wonderful
Shahzad.
co-host as well.
Thank
For
you.
everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, inshallah, you know, we will have the, do you think that
Oh,
I
yes.
should give it away?
Oh, yes.
We'll have the
Oh,
Rap
yes.
King Bohemia on the show. Please make sure that you tune in exactly at 10:05 a.m. in the morning. Until next time, look after yourselves. It's a good morning. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.